This is the story of Martin Hoogland, the man who pulled the trigger and ended the reign of one of Europe's most notorious drug lords, Klaas Bruinsma. The murder sent shockwaves through the Netherlands and beyond. The assassination of Klaas Bruinsma by Martin Hoogland marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in the criminal history of Europe. It raised questions about the very nature of justice and the means by which it is served. Martin Hoogland, originally named Martin Klein, was born on September 8, 1956 in Amsterdam. He was a perfectly normal and cheerful boy, according to his childhood friend, Sjaak Kist. Martin had a slight stutter, but it didn't bother anyone, least of all Martin himself. Both Martin and Sjaak attended the Koppelstock School, a primary school in the De Krommert neighborhood. They were inseparable, playing together on the school playground and having lunch at Sjaak's home. This arrangement was convenient as Sjaak's house was closer to school, and Martin's mother and stepfather were busy running a butcher shop. Martin's father, Piet Klein, had passed away, and his mother, Hanny, had a challenging relationship with him. After Martin's birth, Hanny left Piet due to his continued irresponsible behavior and heavy drinking. She moved in with her mother, and later she met Henk Hoogland, a successful butcher. After officially divorcing Piet, Hanny and Martin moved in with Henk. Despite having a visitation arrangement, Martin started distancing himself from his father. As Martin grew up, he witnessed tensions between rival gangs in Amsterdam during the late 1960s and early 1970s. The neighborhood of De Krommert, where Martin lived, was caught between two rival gangs, the MB gang from the Mercaderbuurt and the KB gang from the Kinkerbuurt. Despite the street tensions, Martin was friendly with everyone and had a good sense of humor. After completing his primary education, Martin, along with his mother and Henk, moved to Westzaan. Martin occasionally visited his old neighborhood and became fascinated by Amsterdam street life during the late 1960s. Around the age of 14, Martin started smoking and occasionally enjoyed a beer. He was more interested in football than academics, and after finishing his MAVO education, he, Hanny, and Henk moved out of Amsterdam to Westzaan. In 1973, at the age of 17, Martin applied to the police training school in Amsterdam, motivated by the shortage of police officers in the city. During his training, he excelled in football, built rapport with his peers, and enjoyed the social aspects of the Amsterdam nightlife, often led by his older friend, Piet Schutte. Despite expressing a desire to work in the notorious Warmoesstraat, Martin initially started his police career at the Linneastraat police station. Mentors at the station believed he was too young for the challenges of the Warmoesstraat, but eventually Martin found his way there through an indirect route. In his early years as a police officer, Martin was influenced by older role models like Piet Schutte. His fascination with street life and the allure of a father figure may have contributed to his later choices. At the age of 17, Martin's journey into the world of law enforcement had just begun, setting the stage for the events that would unfold in his future. As a fresh recruit, Martin went through a rigorous internal training program at the police academy, showcasing his self-assured demeanor and football prowess as a valuable member of the police team. Amidst the challenges and the introduction to firearms, Martin was also captivated by the power that a weapon represents. Martin excelled in his training and became a member of the mobile unit, gaining valuable experience during his time there. However, his aspirations to work in the notorious Warmoesstraat district faced resistance from mentors who considered him too young for such a challenging assignment. Jules van der Linden recalled Martin's eagerness to join the popular Warmoesstraat despite reservations. While Martin's attempt to secure a position there initially fails, the attraction of the district lingered in his mind, fueled by a longing for a father figure and a fascination with a lifestyle beyond the ordinary. Posted to the police station on Linneastraat, Martin gained practical experience during his 4-month stint at the post house. Mentors noted his keen interest in police work, yet cautioned against placing him in the challenging Warmoesstraat district. As Martin navigated the diverse challenges in Amsterdam Noord, he encountered various incidents, from handling fatal accidents to intervening in disputes among intoxicated people. Martin's determination to join the Warmoesstraat district intensified, leading him to establish connections with influential figures like Jimmy Nijman, a respected leader in the district. Martin's skillful handling of criminal cases and positive feedback from superiors created a favorable impression, prompting him to request a transfer to District 2. The decision to move to the renowned Warmoesstraat is met with mixed emotions from colleagues, including regrets from those who facilitated the transfer. Martin Hoogland was later added to a group of undercover officers known as Burgerpot in Amsterdam during the 1970s. These officers, also referred to as the Dirty Harrys of the city, operated outside the conventional boundaries to tackle crime on the Zeedijk. The Burgerpot's unconventional methods involved going undercover in plain clothes, working the streets, and dealing with criminals face to face. The Burgerpot were a dedicated and effective group, willing to go beyond the 9-to-5 routine to combat crime. There was an incident where the Burgerpot, frustrated with a drug dealer they couldn't catch, decided to plant drugs on him to secure an arrest. However, it raised concerns about the lack of oversight and control over Burgerpot's actions. Martin Hoogland had a romantic relationship with Ingrid, and they had a prosperous life together. Ingrid was a charismatic and glamorous figure in the Zaandam region. The couple enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, socializing at various clubs and venues. A significant turning point occurred when Martin discovered that his supposedly deceased father, Piet Clean, was alive and worked in a bar in Amsterdam. This revelation shocked Martin, who confronted his mother, Hanny, about the deception. It is revealed that Hanny told Martin his father was dead after their separation, possibly to facilitate her new relationship with Henk Hoogland. Martin, initially reluctant, eventually decided to meet his father. The reunion was awkward, as Martin was taken aback by Piet's lifestyle and the environment he frequented. Over time, their relationship improved, and Martin maintained contact with his biological father. Thea Vinca, a woman who was associated with Piet Clean, played a supportive role in Martin's reunion with his father. In late 1975, Jelle Kuiper and Joop van Riesen started as head inspectors at Bureau Warmoesstraat. Van Riesen had been working at the Bureau since 1965 and was now promoted to a leadership position. The pervasive corruption within Bureau Warmoesstraat became evident, leading Van Riesen and Kuiper to take on the challenge of cleaning it up. Their rule for cleaning the house was straightforward. Anyone in contact with criminals was to be removed. However, implementing this rule proved challenging in the Amsterdam of the 1970s, where many officers came from the city itself, having grown up alongside potential criminals in neighborhoods like the Jordan. Van Riesen and Kuiper acknowledged the dilemma of police officers needing some level of contact with criminals for effective policing. The line between acceptable and corrupt contacts became a central concern for them. Kuiper questioned the origins of corruption, wondering if it starts with simple gestures like accepting a cup of tea or a cigarette. The duo emphasized that they do not outright accuse officers of being corrupt, recognizing the difficulty of proving such claims. Instead, their focus is on officers having private contacts with criminals, which are strictly prohibited. They strive to convey this message clearly to the police force. Be cautious, as engaging in private relationships with criminals will result in dismissal. However, firing officers proved challenging due to the peculiar employment structure at the time. Officers were employed by the municipality rather than the police, putting the power to dismiss in the hands of the mayor. In practice, dismissals were rare as strong evidence was required. With Van Riesen and Kuiper taking charge, activities like playing cards during duty hours were prohibited, signaling a shift towards a more disciplined environment. Amidst this chaotic struggle for change, Martin Klein joined Bureau Warmoesstraat as a 19-year-old in August 1976. Martin quickly makes a career within the police force. He is not only a good cop, but also a smart and charismatic man. He knows how to approach people and can quickly assess situations. His easy conversation and confident attitude make him popular with colleagues and superiors. He's given more and more responsibilities and is noticed in the police world. However, behind the scenes, Martin struggles with his own demons. He develops a fascination for the dark side of life and becomes increasingly involved in shady affairs. His desire for excitement and adventure increases, and he begins to misuse his police badge for personal gain. Eventually, Martin's involvement in criminal activities caught up with him. Internal Affairs launched an investigation into his questionable conduct, leading to a suspension and eventually his dismissal from the police force. He became a member of the so-called Yugo mafia. Martin, the detective, went off the rails over the years due to his excessive cocaine use. In 1986, he was sentenced to 15 months in prison for a shooting in the Amsterdam West End dance hall. After his prison sentence, he went to work for the well-known Yugoslavian mafia boss, Sreten Jocic. 5 years later, Hoogland was arrested again, this time for the most evocative murder in Dutch crime history of drug trafficker Klaas Bruinsma. When he was released in 1992 because the court found the evidence insufficient, Hoogland also ended the life of criminal Tony Heiselendorn, according to the Justice Department, with no less than 16 shots. The court later sentenced him to 20 years in prison, partly based on the testimony of another drug trafficker, Steve Brown. "Martin told me 30 times that he killed them both," he told the court. While on parole, he was murdered in 2004. He was killed while he was on leave from an open prison. As we end this story, the life of Martin Hoogland underscores the importance of maintaining integrity in law enforcement and the need for vigilance against the infiltration of organized crime. What do you have to say about this story? Let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Thanks.